in the sport mode, and we're gonna get our acceleration here with the Rogue. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over a 2021 Nissan Rogue in the Platinum package. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to Tim Daly Nissan here in Murray for giving me some time with this Rogue. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. So under the hood of the Rogue, we have a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a CVT automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 25 around town and then 32 on the highway, with power outputs being 181 horsepower and then 181 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of this Nissan Rogue Platinum. So first and foremost, you guys can see they have these really cool LED accent lights here at the front, and then you've got the LED headlights just down below. Definitely has this cool futuristic look, but I love how it's like all integrated into each other. So like you can imagine you go straight through down to here, and then you've got the headlight itself. I think it's just a really cool look in general. And you've got the venting just down there on the side. Again, kind of adds the overall theme of aggressiveness with the front end. Parking sensors along the front as well. You still have the Nissan smiley face that I kind of make fun of, but I think it's pretty cool in general. You guys can see this is the new Rogue, and then you guys can see the old Rogue right over there. They both have the Nissan smiley face. But yeah, in general, I think the front end definitely looks a lot more futuristic, and I like it. Coming around the side here, we've got two 35mm tires on 19-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well with the Rogue. As for the design on the wheels, I love how they kind of look like blades. Basically, you've got the silver inserts on top of the darker gray portion of the wheel itself. Just looks really good in general. And then there's kind of a look at what we can see of the front suspension here. I love how they have like the little miniature mud flap there in the back. Obviously, it's going to add some protection to the vehicle, but it also just, it's so small. And then you've got the plastic guard here on the side with a little chrome strip just to make things look a little bit nicer. And then I really love how they've blacked out the mirrors and then the roof of it as well. Definitely gives it kind of like a more sleek look in general. And there's your full side view on the Rogue Platinum. Let's go into the back of the Rogue. So first and foremost, you guys can see we've got the floor mats here that have the Rogue logo on them. And then storage space back here is actually really good. You can pick this up. There's a little bit more storage underneath there. You guys can kind of see the little sides of it here. And then the other cool thing right here, you guys can see on the side, there's this little lever. You pull that and it throws down the second row. So then obviously getting things into the back here will be a whole lot easier. But other than that, that's the back of the Rogue. Now let's go over the back end of the new Rogue. So first and foremost, you guys can see the taillights here. I actually really like them. It just kind of like juts abruptly, just super aggressive looking in general. And then I really like the font on the Rogue logo as well. Obviously you got your rest of your badging, your platinum badging, all that kind of stuff. And then you guys can see just down here at the bottom, we've got parking sensors all along the bottom portion of the bumper. And if you guys are wondering, they pretty much hide the exhaust tip as good as they possibly can so that it doesn't go in or get in the way of the overall design of the Rogue itself. But again, especially from this 3/4 angle, it definitely has this just really nice, like sleek SUV look. Here's a door panel in the rear of the Rogue. So first and foremost, we've got sunshades here in the back, which usually they only have these on third-row SUVs, so it's cool that they have this here on the Rogue. And then you got this really nice soft touch here with the stitching all across, and then down below where you rest your arm. Just looks really nice in general for a rear door panel. And then I like this trim here as well. It's just pretty cool looking. And then here are the seats in the rear. So soft touch, you got perforations all throughout, and then they did like a quilted design with the stitching. Yeah, this is just so smooth and soft to touch. But let's actually pop in. So stepping in, step-in height's good. It's really easy to get in general. I've got a good amount of headroom, and then my legroom is solid as well. You can see I've got a little storage pocket right there. Couple of vents here on the back, and then just down below you can see that you've got your heated seat controls, and then you do have controls for the climate here in the back as well, which is pretty cool. A couple of USBs as well. And then you kind of have to like dig your fingers in the back there, but you've got some cup holders here in the back as well. And here's the back of the Rogue Platinum. Now let's go over the door panel here at the front of the Rogue. So again, you can see all the soft touch all across this area with all the stitching. Just looks just as nice as the rear. You've got your memory seat controls right here. And then I really like the trim on this little piece in this area. All of your window controls as well, and your mirror adjustments all in the normal location that they're going to be in a car. And then coming over here, we can see that we've got soft touch all along the seats with the stitching, the perforations. Again, that quilted design in the center, which looks really cool. Bolsters on the seats. really soft to the touch. And then I like the adjustments on the seats just because they kind of put some nice trim on them just to make them look a little bit more premium. And then here's the pedal layout just next to that. And then you guys can see this is for the rear hatch. This is the lane keep assist, and there's one more look before we pop in. Now here's the steering wheel with the Rogue. You can see you've got soft touch all around the steering wheel itself. And then if we zoom in here, we can see you've got the controls for the cruise control, phone controls just down below. It is adaptive with the cruise control, by the way. Paddle shifters here on the back. And then you can see you've got the rest of your volume controls, radio controls, all that kind of stuff. I love how like open this steering wheel is because it makes it so that the center gauge cluster is just very, very visible. And then you have the regular stock for your lights, and then you've got the stock for the windshield wipers. And the last thing is this does have a heads-up display. Hopefully that's popping through onto the camera, but yeah, that's all for the steering wheel area. Now here's the center gauge cluster with the Rogue. Obviously there's a couple different menus that you can kind of scroll through with this gauge cluster just to give you different bits of information on the vehicle itself. For example, you have a little compass built in. You can go to the radio as well. I think it's cool with the animation, just the overall look of the center gauge cluster. I think it's a very good looking center gauge cluster. And then there are some drive modes you can go through. So there's a little dial. I'll show the dial in just a moment. But basically you have a couple drive modes. You've got the snow mode, for example, and then you have the off-road mode, and then you can go the other way for the eco, and then you obviously do have the sport mode as well. And I just want to mention again, I love the look of the gauges on either side because like you can see the RPMs, just like how that looks when it goes up. It's just super unique. Like I've never seen a gauge cluster setup that looks like this before. Here's the center infotainment system. First and foremost, let's actually pop it into reverse. So when we pop the Rogue into reverse, the backup camera is going to pop up. You've got some trajectory lines that'll turn with the steering wheel, and then you do have that bird's eye view as well, which is pretty neat. And then there is a camera button that we can press as well. And then you guys can see that it gives you similar viewpoints, gives you a couple other viewpoints out with the camera system as well. So in general, parking this should not be an issue. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time on it's actually really solid. It's really easy to use in general. And again, you've got a bunch of shortcut buttons here at the bottom. So like if I want to go to the camera system, I can press that. Or if I want to go to the main menu, then I can press that and it'll take me through it. And then yes, you do get the satellite radio with this as well, which is another neat little feature. But yeah, I think the infotainment system in general, it's really easy to use. Response time on it's really good, and it looks cool. Just down below the infotainment system, we have our analog climate controls. You do have the dual zone for the front. You do have heated seats and a heated steering wheel as well in that little area. And I love how they have a separate area for the climate controls, so you don't have to do it through the infotainment system. And then we do have a wireless phone charger in this little area. You can charge some devices with the USBs or the 12 volt, and then you got the engine stop start right next to that. And then notice they've got the really nice stitching here on the side. And then you have the cool shifter, which you guys know, I really like this shifter on the new Rogues. I just think, again, it's unique. It's a little bit gimmicky, but it feels cool with the actuation on it. And you've got a parking brake right here with your auto hold, and then more of the really nice trim in this little area. Couple of cup holders, and then this is that drive mode select. So you guys saw the drive modes earlier, but this is just the dial that you use to go through the drive modes. And then, yes, we have the center console that opens up like this, which is definitely different, but it looks nice. I just want to show you guys again with the interior. I think it looks really good. They use a bunch of really nice materials. I love how there's a ton of soft touch over the dash. Obviously, it just makes it look and feel a whole lot nicer and just makes the car kind of like feel a lot more premium. And then this trim above the glove box, another cool little point right there. But it's just a regular glove box, so there's just a little handle right there. Open it up, nothing too crazy or gimmicky with that. And then finishing things up with the top portion right here, we have a sunglass holder, which is very important. You always want to have that in a car, right? And then you do have a full panoramic sunroof with this Platinum package. The controls for the center for just right there in that little area, and then it is a lighter colored headliner. Now that we're done going with the interior on this Nissan Rogue Platinum, let's quickly get into the pricing. So in terms of pricing, this Rogue in the Platinum package with all the options it has, stickers for just over $39,000, which for being like a fully loaded SUV in this segment, it's actually really solid. That all being said, let's take this new Rogue out and see how it drives. Well, let's quickly talk about visibility before we set off here in the 2021 Rogue Platinum. So you guys can see visibility over the hood. It's really easy to see out of it. And again, you can see the heads-up display. Here's your visibility through both the mirrors, and they do have blind spot monitoring. And then here's all throughout the rest of the rear of the Rogue, which, I mean, for being a smaller sized SUV, visibility is definitely really solid. And that all being said, let's let's set off. Setting off here in the 2021 Nissan Rogue Platinum. So the first thing I'm noticing is this definitely has that like smaller sized SUV zippy feel in general, which I definitely really like, because I don't like it when SUVs feel massive like a truck, because at that point I would pretty much just rather have a truck. And then in terms of like the overall sound quality that comes into the cabin of the new Rogue, it actually does a really good job with insulating from the outside world in general. Obviously you are going to hear some noise from other cars. There's very minimal tire noise though, which is definitely really nice with the Rogue as well. And so kind of like my initial impression with the car, it definitely has just a nice little feel. And sadly, we have a lot of traffic here. I don't know what it is about Murray, but for some reason there's like always tons of people driving through this little area right here. But let's actually get up and moving with the Rogue now. Yeah, it handles bumps really well, actually. It doesn't really upset the vehicle all that much. And again, that small feel is really nice because it makes driving this just a whole lot easier. So you guys know this is my favorite road to review cars on, because it's kind of like bumpy all over the place, has some train tracks on it as well, and just a great place to really test out the suspension of a new vehicle, just to see how like it actually rides over stuff. And so far, yeah, the Rogue does a really good job. I would rate it at average for the segment that it's in, for sure. And of course the train comes through, so you guys can see that. But yeah, I'd rate it at average for the segment. The brakes though are really good. Yeah, stopping power on this is really good. So that was actually good, because now we gotta test the brakes. So we are in the sport mode, and we're gonna get our acceleration here with the Rogue. Yes, that CVT does a really good job of getting it right into the power band, so it has like a really smooth acceleration. Now I actually do want to pop it over into the manual mode to actually see how quick the shifts are with the paddles. Yeah, the shifts are really quick for a CVT automatic transmission, which is something that I definitely really appreciate. And if I was looking to buy a car with a CVT, that's something that I would be interested in seeing, is just how responsive the paddles are when I press them. But yeah, they do a really good job from a response time, and that'll actually get me into summing things up with this Rogue. So if you're looking for a new SUV, there's tons of different options to go through nowadays. Obviously, you've got like Honda CR-V, you've got Toyota RAV4, Mazda CX-5, Jeep Cherokee. There's just so many options in this category. The thing I like about the Rogue, obviously the exterior styling, it has its own unique little take. Definitely looks futuristic as well. I really like the ride of it. This interior is absolutely beautiful. Definitely more on the upscale side for this segment of SUV. So I'd actually say this is a little, like my favorite in this segment has been the Mazda CX-5, but this feels like this is just a little bit nicer than the CX-5. And then from an acceleration and power standpoint, it's average for the segment. It's not above or below by any means. And so just as like an overall package, it's really good. And I forgot to mention, I didn't mention this in the walk around, but like this has a ton of safety tech. And so like it has all the stuff that it needs for the segment and just a really nice interior. And so if you're kind of looking for like more of a luxury variant, that's where the Rogue's gonna stand out. That is gonna sum things up with our video on this 2021 Nissan Rogue Platinum. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Tim Daly Nissan here in Murray, Utah for giving me some time with this Rogue. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in that next video.